Hello, Senator Sanders. My name is Anthony Newby from Minneapolis, Minnesota, a group called Newby. Thank you so much for coming. I want to first start by saying welcome to the Midwest, welcome to Iowa, and thank you. I have not decided who I'm voting for yet, but I want to thank you for being a candidate who's been the most unapologetic in my lifetime on taking on corporate interests. We came to Iowa from Minnesota, again, along with about 100 other folks, 25 leaders from Black-led organizations from throughout the Midwest. Came for a few reasons. Number one, to develop a long-term racial justice strategy. We know that the Midwest has some of the most glaring disparities in the country. We need to put together a long-term plan. Number two, to address the prison industrial complex, which you mentioned in your opening statements. It cannot continue. The over-policing cannot continue. But we need to put together a plan anchored in our communities to solve it. The last is to put an agenda in front of the candidates to help inform and influence the presidential election. I want to talk a little bit about the policing piece that's happening in the Midwest. Many of us from the organizations that I mentioned have faced high-profile cases of police violence and police killings. The names that you will recognize are Jimmy Rice, Michael Brown, Tony Robinson, Daquan McDonald, Kia Boyd, Betty Jones, and Jamar Clark. When I say Jamar Clark, many of the folks who knew him, family, friends, and others are in this room today. Raise your hand and say aye if you know Jamar Clark, know of him, or are demanding justice in his case.
Aye!
There was an occupation that followed the death of Jamar Clark. Officials in Minneapolis decided to carve out from the budget $600,000 to go directly to a police station that was directly responsible for the death of Jamar Clark. To reinforce the police station and reinforce glass, windows, fences, and barriers to keep the police safe.
That ain't right.
The community rallied to block that funding, and that proposal was pulled because of many of the folks in this room who demanded no more. Senator Sanders, is our Black and brown communities throughout the Midwest are in absolute crisis. We need a president willing to take big, bold action in the moment. On behalf of the great folks of Iowa and throughout the Midwest, we're asking you to follow the model began at the 4th Precinct in Minneapolis in honor of Jamar Clark, and divest from the tools of mass incarceration and punitive law enforcement and create a massive jobs and infrastructure bill. Cut the cord on things that don't work and commit $200 billion, not $1 million. We want a president who will commit $200 billion or more and invest in the health of our communities. Can you make that commitment today?
No, we'll invest $1 trillion in rebuilding. Well, this is the story. All right. Here's the story. Youth unemployment today is off the charts. African American youth unemployment and underemployment is 51%. All right, 51%. So what I think, you want a radical idea? Maybe we invest in education and jobs rather than jails and incarceration. Instead of having more people in jail than any other country, how about having the best educated workforce in the world? Now we talk about jobs. Real unemployment in this country is not 5%, it's close to 10%. Youth unemployment off the charts. I have introduced legislation and will make happen as president a $1 trillion investment over a 5-year period to rebuild our permanent infrastructure go to college. We need plumbers, we need electricians. As we transform our energy system away from fossil fuel, we need people installing solar panels, insulating homes. In every speech that I give, Anthony, in every speech, what I say is that it is more important for our kids to have jobs and education than to be hanging out on street corners. Yeah. All right? So yes, when I talk about a political revolution and transforming America, there will be a huge focus on the needs of our young people and creating a full employment economy. No more tax breaks for billionaires.
Question. We love the $1 trillion number. That's music to our ears. The question is, will you target that investment of $1 trillion to the communities, both urban and rural, with the highest rates of unemployment and concentrated poverty?
Absolutely. If we are talking about addressing the crisis of youth unemployment and high unemployment in general, by definition, it means that we need to target that money to the communities that need it the most.
That's right.
I think rebuilding our infrastructure, hiring teachers rather than firing teachers, but also helping small and medium-sized businesses in the minority